right, let's get into the topic here. And I'm debating whether to, okay, yeah, sharing mode. Let me sort of do my little sharing here, and then I'll read the manifesto, I call it. That sort of, I channel a statement, a few paragraphs, and then I'll go into diagrams and all kinds of good stuff. But I want to share this. I had a really deep, profound experience with definitely a full-blown narcissist. I mean, just horrible, horrible stuff. It was like a very compressed experience, though. It wasn't like, I married this person or I grew up with this person, okay? But it really gave me a profound insight and really deep compassion. I really understood it. So what happened was somebody I met in a group, not somebody here, started out real charming, real interesting, really fascinating. It's like, oh, I want to talk with this person more. He had a lot of theories about psychology, about how people need to heal, about how society gets things wrong. So we had a separate Zoom chat, and yeah, I liked things he was saying. I just started noticing, like, boy, he really has an axe to grind. He keeps mentioning that he has childhood trauma, but he doesn't go into any vulnerable details. It's just sort of like this badge of courage that he keeps holding on to. Like, they did me wrong. And then he's got all these interesting theories, but it kind of leans toward condemning, judging, like what's wrong in the world. And so I agreed with him on lots of great points, and my direction is the direction of like compassion and healing. And then he started becoming more and more resistant to that. And then we had some emails, and he started putting me on this kind of a gaslighting thing. He started putting me on the side of like, I am his opponent. He said like, oh yeah, we had a really nice talk and everything, but you think the opposite of me. And I'm like, no, I really don't. We agreed on lots of things. Don't you remember? No, you said this and you said that. And no, I really didn't. It's like, and then the more that I try to stand up for myself and my reality and what I actually said and what I meant, the more he turned against me, and he said like, no, you're one of them. You're, just like, and then he ended up sending me like, well, and then I tried to like really sympathize. Like, I like you, and I understand you had, this trauma, and let's talk more, and let's work with your best ideas. And like, he just went into full blown, like, he sent me the most abusive, crazy email I've ever seen in my life, like full of like obscenities and like just characterizing me as the enemy and just like insane. And I just felt the energy of it, but I didn't feel triggered. I didn't feel triggered at all. I felt clear, like, wow, this guy, he lives in his own nightmare. He lives in his own war. It's a war zone in his mind. And the external person that's so offensive, he has no idea. I tried to point it out. It's like, do you see what you're saying? He was accusing me of everything he was doing. He was saying like, you are so abusive, and he's saying all these obscenities, and like, I didn't say anything abusive. And that's one of the characteristics of a narcissist. It's like the accusations of a narcissist are confessions. I love that statement. Or just in general, you see these people that they're accusing other people of doing exactly what they're doing. And also the direction of a negative person, they're becoming less and less intelligible. They may have started out like really nice, having really great ideas, able to articulate themselves, and they devolve into like just name calling. And then they finally just sputter. They can't do anything but just like laugh at you and attack. It's just the crazy making. It's like, where did the person go that I started liking? What happened here? It's that they are in their own bubble. They are in their own war zone. We are each in our own bubble of energy, and sort of the boundaries of that bubble are our beliefs, our belief systems. We want to have positive beliefs that let the light through, that let us communicate with other beings. Negative beliefs cause people increasingly to just be locked in their own little dark prison. So I could feel it. This guy who I started out liking, but he just went berserk. Where's the guy I started out liking? He's in his own dark prison, and he is completely fighting his war. And he doesn't realize that he becomes the prison shell. He becomes the thing he's fighting. So that on the outside, we just see this person who's going berserk and misunderstands everything and just inverts everything. Good things are bad, bad things are good. It's crazy. On the inside, it's just it's this sense of a person who's so desperate in their war, they will throw everything at the war. They will throw everything under the bus. They'll sacrifice anything. They're just in a totally desperate mode. And that's what you see with like narcissists, and there's this whole culture in our society. We tend to think of like, oh, these people are doing it on purpose. They're somehow scheming. They know what they're doing. It's so devious. It's so, and then people go into their own negativity about negativity. Like, ooh, these people, the evil genius and everything. It's like, no, they are just completely reacting. Any apparent, like, quote unquote genius is really just negative beliefs themselves. They're just being a force of nature. They're just exploiting and acting out how negative beliefs work, which I'm going to talk about because it's really insightful to realize, like, it's nothing personal. This is just how negative beliefs function. And if a person takes on those negative beliefs, their brain increasingly rewires to see only negative, only enemies, and they act out all this stuff. So it's part of the negative ego of society to say, oh, those negative people, they're geniuses. Oh, it's amazing. They manipulate people. Like, no, they are just like a scared, wounded child, just throwing anything they can grab. It's like, are you my friend? Well, if you're my friend, you will sacrifice yourself for me. You will be my cannon fodder. I'm going to throw you at my enemy. And from the outside, you can be like, what are they doing? They're like gaslighting me. They're changing reality. They're making me doubt myself. They're abusing me. 1 minute they're flattering me to pull me in, and the next minute they're abusing me. It's like they don't even think of it that way. They just think of it as like anything they can grab to throw it at their internal war, and they're living inside of their negative beliefs. So that's a sympathetic way I thought I wanted to communicate, and that was really humbling. And then a few days later, after seeing that and feeling that, I was able to actually journal with myself about my own narcissist. So basically to think in terms of like, what is the part of you that is so defensive, so like at war, just so compulsively, like just in survival mode, you would throw anything. Like if your higher self came to you, if your soul came to you, and it does, our higher self comes to us all the time. The love of the universe comes to us all the time. And yet our inner narcissist is like, great, let me throw you at the enemy. Let me just like people wonder, like, where are my spirit guides? Where is the love? Where's the success for me? It's because your inner narcissist is taking anything that comes near you and throwing it at the poop-colored glasses, the imagined enemy. And the imagined enemy, it's really just how negative belief systems work, so it absorbs it. Anything you throw at your negative beliefs, they will absorb it. It's like trying to fight fire with fire until the whole world is burned down. Like, you cannot fight negativity with negativity. You have to step back and just go into a more loving space and just disengage. And that's how then our guides, our higher self, can actually start appearing. The love can start appearing. So I wanted to share that because it was just a profound experience for me. I'm still dealing with, those crazy making times. It's been like the major project of my life to understand those times when somebody just insists on misunderstanding you, insists on making you the enemy, demonizing you, insists on like devolving into just a fight and a war. And you have to let it go. There's a part of you that's going to want to engage. Like, can't I just explain that, if I say one more thing, do one more thing, won't it fix this person? No, it's impossible to change a person who's holding on to negative beliefs because everyone has their own free will. Everybody is running their own consciousness, and negative beliefs cannot change. Negative beliefs just are negative beliefs. You can believe this if you want. It will take you down a path until you realize, I don't like being that way, and I'm going to turn around. But we cannot make negative beliefs not exist. They just exist. So let me read my manifesto. So this is our goal is to channel our own real selves, be able to speak and act in a flow of our own real being, to be able to come from a confidence of our own destiny, what we really came here to do, our purpose. And I like to think of it as dancing. That's actually a metaphor I got from Lazarus, channeled entity who helped me a lot studying his teachings in my 20s. But basically, it's like a lot of the spiritual path is learning the dance steps. And then at some point, it's not just like, clunky, like, oh, put my arm here, put my foot here, like, oh, I'm trying to learn the dance steps. Eventually, more and more, it becomes fluid and you'll be able to dance. So when you're really in a flow of being your best self, you're centered in your positive beliefs. See, we all have negative beliefs and positive beliefs. We all have both. And the goal is to be aware of both in a neutral kind of way. I don't have to react. I don't have to add to the problem. And then just see like where it comes up that, oh, I can shift a negative belief over to the positive side. So you're learning these dance steps of being a good person, having positive thoughts, and the world still has problems. And you're like, when is it going to change? It's going to change when you really learn to just dance, to just flow. And it's like more and more, I love my life because I feel like I've learned the dance steps, meaning I'm familiar with my true self. I'm familiar with what my higher self guides me to do. I'm familiar with my flow, what I love to do, my purpose. I'm here to do this kind of thing. I love to talk about my experiences, my understandings of how wonderful the universe really is, and to share that as some kind of spiritual teacher, friend, guide, coach, whatever. And this particular topic of being aware of beliefs, how important they are, how they create reality, being aware of our negative and positive beliefs, being able to shift the negative beliefs over to the positive, that is like a huge focus of the world, and that's a huge passion of mine at this time. So let me read, when I got into a flow, what I wrote for a few paragraphs. And it's interesting, this, what I call a manifesto, this was a tricky one for me. I had to start and stop and restart a few times. The first time I wrote this, I started out just kind of oppositional. Like, here's the things about negativity that, like, we can't stand. We got to change this. And then I read it and I was like, it just sounds really complaining. It sounds really like somebody's stuck in it. And it's like, yeah. So I restarted it a few times and I went down a few paths of like interesting ideas, but then those two became too intellectual. I tried to stay as heart-centered as possible. The heart needs to lead the mind. The heart is where we resonate with the higher truths. Through the clear, positive beliefs, we can resonate with our heart to the higher spiritual dimensions. So we're in our own reality, but we connect with beings in higher dimensions and more positive realities who can then guide us. So eventually I wrote what I'm going to read. And it was really interesting. I still want to say a little more here, that after I wrote this and I read it, and it's like, oh, I like this. This is really good. I got really upset. And I was like, what's going on? Why am I upset? It turned out it was the me, the parts of me, the selves, that I had said, no, that's not good enough for this paragraph. I had to actually go back and specifically appreciate all the different sides of me, all the different ideas that had come up, and make it clear, like, no, I really like that idea. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm just saying that for this particular topic, for this particular write-up, your contribution didn't fit, but I totally love you. So the me who, because I've been combative for years, like this meetup, I've been running this meetup for 7 years, and people who, well, I don't think anybody's been here that long, but in the beginning, I was very combative. I had great ideas, but I was very much on the side of like, we have got to end the negativity, we have got to end, and just, it had a kind of desperation and anger to it. Like, yeah, I was desperate and angry. I had to go back and appreciate that self and say, like, look, you're fine, you're beautiful. We're all lifting each other higher. We're all going home together, all the parts of ourselves. Specific ideas that I didn't include in this. I was going to quote Julian Jaynes or Gorbachev, and it's like, no, it's just too political or too philosophical intellectual. Very interesting. I'll bring you up another time, my dear self. But it's that kind of thing. It's like we have a lot of parts of ourselves to soul retrieve. We're going to find that a lot of things come up. We get triggered in situations. We got to sort out. No, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Find the part of you that means well and has a great idea, and be clear. I want you, and we're getting rid of more of the negativity, more of the false beliefs. So it was an interesting sort of backstory to writing this. But let me read this. So just see what you resonate with. Triggered no more. Understand negativity so it can't affect you. You are so fabulous, with so much love and purpose for a beautiful world that welcomes you with more gifts in return. So let's heal the triggers of negativity, shall we? Positive energy builds the wonders in endless flow, while negative energy fights to oppose everything, even itself. In that way, negativity is superficial and obvious, and it must keep escalating our reactions to grab our attention. Join us this Sunday, January 19th, 2025, for a free liberating talk on how to break your old reaction cycles with more compassionate understanding so you can focus on your own beautiful, amazing destiny. The best news of all is that creation is fundamentally on your side, with full support to leave the pain of negativity forever, thanks to the laws of attraction and the law of repulsion. What that means is things that belong together attract naturally, and things that don't belong together try to get away from each other. What you belong with most of all is your own soul, which is your joyful place in the living, loving universe. You are predestined to thrive in healthy happiness forever with your best friends and your soul family. So why in the world do we get stuck sometimes with hurtful, incompatible beings who are destroying themselves and taking us with them? Well, exactly. That's the question. The perils of pathologically oppositional negative actors, from narcissistic, demagogic leaders to their reactive followers who together create the problems that they claim to be solving. They are limited to a certain reality for a certain time span until we learn the exit lessons that we chose for ourselves from a higher level of consciousness. That's what destiny is, that a higher level of consciousness, we decided what we're going to work through. And then we're down here like, who put this in my way? Well, it's us. Work through it. There's a solution. So, what? I got myself into this mess? Yes, but with loving solutions in mind. Solutions that you need to remember to save yourself now. Nobody saves anybody else, because everyone can and must save themselves to grow their own consciousness. Of course, we can provide good or bad examples of how to do this to each other by showing how we're running our own life. And therein lies all the possible misery or happiness. If you follow bad leaders, you will copy their bad examples and get into similar messes. If you follow good leaders, you will copy good examples and you'll have some success, but you'll be dependent on them. You need to follow your own higher self to learn from all the examples, good or bad, and then you'll be smooth sailing forever. So feel free to invent to yourself, to invent your human emotions, because as a human being, you must feel it to heal it. Hey, higher self, what the hell? I am scared, hurt, angry, lonely, hopeless, anxious, depressed, and even suicidal down here. Did I leave anything out? Well, by expressing the human experience in a positive, honest, vulnerable way to yourself, you open the doors to self-love. The solutions that you did plan all along from a higher level can start showing up in your reality in divine timing. From the insights you need from the inside to synchronistic opportunities in the outside objective reality. There's an inner and an outer harmony that will grow to reveal your own way to paradise. So to be on your way, you must learn to stop opposing negative energy and truly cooperate with positive energy. You are an immortal being created in the Creator's image. Whatever the source can do, call it God, Goddess, Great Spirit, Big Sweetie, whatever. You can do it too by the principles of sustainable creation that start from unconditional love. Let go and let God to discover the path of your own higher self. You never have to be perfect to enjoy a perfect system for creators in training. Just get with the program to enjoy all the benefits. As a spiritual human being, you learn how to grow a conscious experience of your own heaven on earth. That is your reality. You sort through belief systems, choosing the beliefs, often from those who already believe those beliefs. You choose the beliefs that enhance your life energy. By law of attraction, you will want to try anything that you believe will get you home. True beliefs feel good immediately as they start you in the true direction. False beliefs, they lie and they feel bad, so you would drop them as soon as you see them clearly. The law of repulsion works great when you forgive and let go the opposition, rather than holding on to what you oppose with more negativity. When you feel the difference between positive and negative directions, you can grow your own paradise. So for this meetup, look at your triggers for 2025. It's going to be a big final year for negative leaders to push all the buttons they can. So take heart to stay ahead of the game with the love of your own higher self. After check-ins to share and relate, I'll explain exactly where negativity begins in the dysfunctional relationship between the spirit decider and the human experiencer sides of ourselves. Love and fear act like opposites, but with emotional honesty, they cooperate to expose false beliefs. You will gain new compassion and clarity for narcissists and negative players who can't actually directly affect you as you master the 4 steps of reclaiming your soul. And then we'll conclude with a guided meditation to release negative ego and choose higher love. Okay. So, we're actually running kind of low on time. I only want to talk for like 15 more minutes. Let me get some key ideas out there pretty quickly. So this is the kind of part of the meeting where you would want perhaps the recording. So let me grab my pens here. And where's my blue pen? Oh, it fell over here. Hang on. Let me grab my blue pen. I need to draw my diagrams. And for those who have been here before, you'll recognize my amazing stick figures. Others will be impressed by my artistic abilities. Okay. So here we are. It's a map of creation. We need maps. That's what reality is. It's a map. So here's the earth. Here's your human self on the earth. Put a little smile there. And to visualize it, here's the source. The background, wisdom, love, guidance of the universe. To be clear, it's inside of you, it's all around you, it's everywhere. As a map, we're just putting it up here. Your soul, your version of the universe. You are the entire universe in your own personality. You have everything you need inside of you. They often say that. You have all the answers inside of you. You still have to learn how to use those answers and use them in the proper order to build your consciousness. So anybody on the spiritual path who just sits back and says, well, I'm God, I have all the answers. You that's a potential. That's a path. Okay. We need to be humble and learn how to use what we have inside of us. But yes, we have a soul. And at the soul level, everybody is positive. Every universe, it's a multiverse of universes. Every universe of a consciousness, it knows at the soul level, love is the only way to go. It doesn't mean that every soul knows everything. Souls cooperate. They need to learn from each other, but it's an absolute paradise of cooperation, and it's the source's job to network all the souls. That is the kind of world that we can have down here. Absolutely. We can have a world of diversity and harmony. We can have all these wonderful, amazing people. Everybody is positive. We can have a world where everybody is positive, but you don't necessarily work with everybody. It's like, hey, I love what you're doing. I don't understand it. It's not my thing. you do it. I love it. Maybe I'll read about it sometimes, and I'll do my thing, and maybe you'll read about it sometimes. That's the kind of world we want. We want a world, diversity and harmony. Everybody is positive. Everybody is following their source guidance for what to do to create a beautiful, safe planet. We're not there, obviously. However, we are there energetically. You can tune in to your soul in a perfectly positive world. You can tune in to the reality where, okay, political for just a moment, Kamala Harris won. Okay, there is a reality where Kamala Harris won. I felt it. Okay, last summer when Biden stepped down, and I was so excited. It's like, okay, let's get somebody who can really win against the dictator, and then it was announced it's going to be Kamala Harris, and I just got really scared. I was like, I don't know that the country's ready for that, and I just started like second guessing what can I do? Can I manipulate? Do I say something? How can I? And it just, my soul came over me and said, Carl, forget everybody else. Who do you want in your heart? What world do you see and feel in your heart? And it was like, I love Kamala Harris. That's great. She doesn't have to be perfect. She's a human being, but I love that direction. And for that, when you choose your soul, I had this amazing experience of tuning into like the world that she's from, the soul world. And I tuned into her past life, which was, well, I don't want to go into it all now, but she's been a long time advocate of human rights in history. We all have other lifetimes. It's an amazing experience to tune into your soul. It opens up whole new worlds. So you got to believe energetically you can tune into this totally positive world and then manifest it, materialize it more and more by your actions. And you will experience the negative actors in your life. They will recede. They will go away. And you will be guided by your higher self to have a positive experience of everything. You can have a positive experience even of negative beliefs, even of negative situations that other people are suffering in. You can have a positive experience because your higher self is guiding you to change your negative beliefs to positive, to tune into the world of souls that's totally positive, to manifest more of that. So that's what you're looking for this year. Not for reality to be perfect, but for you to be more tuned in to this amazing, beautiful world of your soul, of your higher self, and follow that energy step by step. Be in a guidance of flow so that everything turns out positive for you, even though there's disturbing stuff in the world. So, your soul is always sending you a wave of guiding energy. If you were an animal, that would be your instincts. When we were human animals, nobody's a human animal anymore, but animals, nature, they're beautiful because they just follow their instincts. They just do the divine plan from your soul. And to be clear, when I say soul, what I mean is more a sense of like the infinite direction and the embrace, kind of like the unconditional love you have for yourself. It's a very goddess, mothering, nurturing kind of energy. Your higher self, it's more a sense of like a sort of a masculine, a professor, a guide, somebody who's right in there with you to like show you what to do. So it's just masculine, feminine, like doing and being approaches to your overall energy. So now then, as we evolve, our consciousness naturally grows. We become more of this spiritual consciousness. More and more we can step outside of ourselves and observe and reflect upon, oh, my human experience, what was that all about? Well, this is a natural growth of consciousness. And as you step outside of yourself, you also want to be guided by your higher self. More and more you have a sense of like, yeah, there's a me who's not just, it's from the direction of instincts, but it actually gives me choices and guidance. So there's my higher self guiding me in my choices. There's my human self showing me the effect of my choices, and that more and more I'm a spiritual being in the middle, learning to guide my life. So this is where you become aware of, yeah, there are 4 archetypal levels. We can relate as human beings, but they really are very fundamental archetypal, and they are what we were talking about. Like, if you need grounding, if you need to connect yourself, reflect on your physical, your emotional feelings, your mental thoughts, and your spiritual values. And keep them in alignment. Just be aware and make adjustments to keep them well connected. when they're well connected, the guidance energy of your soul can come through, and you can have more and more of a conscious experience of like, sometimes I'm human, kind of checking out what my beliefs, what my choices feel like, where do they lead to. If you don't like where your choices lead you, then step back, do more of the reflection. The negative direction is to act out, to believe that like, oh, anything I don't like in my experience, it's out there in the world. And that's when people turn negative, invalidating, attacking, the poop colored glasses, just projecting everything. You don't want to project your internal problems. You want to step back and meditate on them and find them. And it's at the mental level. That's where we find our beliefs. I said like physical, that's our physical body, what we can do physically. Emotional, our feelings. Mental, I said our thoughts, but really mental, that's how we experience the mental level. Mental is where we store our belief systems. So it gets really deep. So thoughts are the images, the ideas of how things work. And then the emotions are the feelings of what it would be like to be in that system. So people who go to a horror movie, they may have their own reasons for it, but obviously, there are people who put up with really disturbing situations. They're disconnecting their feelings from their thoughts. A lot of people are so into their ideas, the eye candy, the cool ideas and all. They neglect what it would be like to actually feel in that position. You want to try to keep your thoughts and feelings connected. And then you can notice when like, hey, this doesn't feel so good. I think I need to go back to the mental level and find the beliefs that are causing me to rewire things in the wrong way. Because, maybe I'll switch pen colors here. So like I said, the idea is at the spiritual level, that's our values and inspirations. That's beyond the particular emotions and thoughts and beliefs. That's what our heart can resonate with at the heart level, that needs to lead the mind with all the thoughts. We can resonate with like these higher ideals of like, I know that the world could be beautiful, a paradise of all the people cooperating. That's what we want to keep our mind on. So So the idea is I want to wrap up with some clarity about positive and negative beliefs. What's the difference? And to have some sympathy for the people who are acting very negatively in the world. Like I said, don't think of it in terms of like they're doing it on purpose. They're so evil. They're plotting and scheming. They're actually like really defensive, scared, hurt people, just throwing everything they can at their internal enemy in their internal war. And if you get in their way, if you try to help them, they'll just grab you and throw you into their internal war. That's the feeling of somebody totally misunderstanding you and demonizing you. I don't understand. I'm trying to help you. I'm saying good things and you are twisting it. You're making it the wrong way. It's like, yeah, they want cannon fodder. They want either somebody to hate and blame, or they want somebody, a follower on their side who will become a sacrifice, throw themselves for you. We all have at the core this negative ego. So again, the point is that the positive ego is this human being on the earth. Your human self is like a loyal pet. It's your human self who's just like, yeah, I'm just vulnerable and I just need to report to you my spiritual self. There's a dialogue between the human and the spirit. The human being's job is to report to the spiritual being, this is how it feels down here. It doesn't feel good. And I end up with a lot of anger and people telling me to use my anger to attack people. And I don't want to do that, but I'm stuck with this anger. What can you do about it? And then you step into your spiritual self with higher self guidance, meaning all the best ideas, all the best resonant kind of inspirations you've ever had. You can step back and you can have some compassion for your human being who's going through struggles. And so your human being can stay positive. There's no reason you have to go into your own negative energy. You can stay positive even in the worst situations because I'm reporting to myself how it feels. And this is where I recommend the 20-minute emotion meditations. Set a timer for 20 minutes and just be with yourself and feel and think, and memories and fears and all this stuff comes up. Just accept it and be with it. And not a neutral way, like go ahead, like, have a little fit or whatever, but you're doing it in a contained way with the intention. Intentions are another form of belief systems. I intend for this to have a good outcome. I believe that there is a good outcome possible, so I intend for that to happen. So this is where you can set a 20-minute timer. It's an ideal amount of time. Feel it, just be a dramatic actor. Just be a human being who's like, showing your spiritual self what you've been going through. And at the end of 20 minutes, let it go. Let yourself know you did a good job. You were really honest with me. Thank you. And then as a spiritual self, you do something nice for yourself to assert your positive creator direction. So I often, like, after a 20-minute emotion meditation of feeling whatever, I go for a walk, or I have a nice healthy snack, or I sing a song, or I pet my cat, or just whatever, something positive, something well within your means. And what happens is that's a nice relationship interaction between the human ego, who's staying positive to report conditions, and the spiritual consciousness who's willing to hear that and be with that. Because a lot of people, they want to be spiritual and they just want to get out of here. They don't want to deal with the human stuff. But if you keep the relationship together, more and more your higher self is going to come in for the next step. So when I do an emotion meditation, I'm amazed, like later in the day, okay, I feel shifts, I feel inspiration, I feel insights. Where's this coming from? It's my higher self. I cleared some way for that. So I talked about, I want to get some key concepts in here. I talked about 4 steps of reclaiming your soul. I think this is really important. So the idea is that step 1 is knowing what you like. Knowing what you like in life. And I put it down at the physical level. What you need is a solid basis for knowing who you are, knowing your positive self, before you get to how do I deal with the negative things, the things I disagree with. So knowing what you like in life, step 1. Having your own personal tastes, and you don't have to advertise it, you don't have to expose yourself, just go ahead and like enjoy some nice things with yourself, like at the end of emotion meditation. Step 2, how to create more of what you like, how to be a creator with that. So you're not just a passive consumer. So I like good food, and I enjoy giving that to myself and talking with myself in the spirit-human relationship. I want to create more good food. I want to get myself to good restaurants. I want to learn some recipes. I want to be clear that I'm not just a passive consumer of what's nice about the universe. I'm actually an active participant. That's going to get you tuned in to like, yeah, I am good. I am worthy. I have a purpose. I am part of the universe. Step 3, at this mental level where we can expose positive and negative beliefs, it's how to handle conflict. Learn how to handle conflict. And that's what we're talking about with compassion, with understanding. You don't have to fight conflict. But this is really important, how to handle the things you don't like, what you don't like. And the basic way to handle what you don't like is to fully acknowledge it. I don't like that, and I don't have to be stuck with it. People have all these beliefs. They assume I have to change people. I have to change something I don't like. Don't change what you like. Just change yourself. Realize, like, okay, I don't like that. What do I like? Let it be an inspiration for you to think more about what you do like. When you're forced to think about what you do like, and that is more of a vision, and what's really most manifest in front of you is something you don't like, that's spiritual. You're able to not just like, I physically like this, I physically create more things I like, I metaphysically, I spiritually imagine what I like in contrast to what I don't like. So it's not so much the conflict, it's the contrast. How to handle the contrast. When you can peacefully handle the contrast in life, you can move into a 4th stage of like, I am my soul. My soul is all I need. I am more and more of my soul every day. And this is where you can get into a state of you're golden. You realize, like, my negative beliefs are finite. I set up certain obstacles in life for me to learn how to handle what I don't like. But now I'm not stuck with other people. I'm not stuck with things I don't like. I am actually tuned in to the source, and it will guide me to keep growing my positive beliefs. Because life is not about positive and negative, okay? There's like, the negative beliefs are the ones that just aren't right for you, lead you into suffering. At first, the most obvious negative beliefs are the ones that's not good for anyone. Okay, that's just anti-life. That's not good for anyone. Like divide and conquer, invalidate. Like that's just, you're going to divide and conquer yourself. You're going to, like, infighting. Like we're going to see a lot of the people who thought they were so powerful because they're so oppositional and negative and forceful. There's going to be a lot of infighting. They're going to implode. They're going to, their plans are going to go awry. So that's all the negative stuff. But we have a finite amount of negative beliefs that we each came into this life to learn how to deal with. And that's why they talk about, at higher spiritual levels, we choose our families. We choose the major players in our life, good and bad. Was I masochistic? No, I chose the negative players in my life because I knew that tuning into my higher self, I would learn how to handle the contrast. I would be more of my soul, confidently incarnated all the time on earth. So you realize, like, at first on the spiritual path, it's like, okay, I just want to do everything I can to be a good human being on the positive belief side, but I can't seem to change the fact that there are all these negative people in the world that trigger me. The more and more you learn how to handle beliefs and change them, shift them to the positive, you start chipping away at this and building more of this, the positive. And yes, eventually you can get to a personal life and then an entire community and then an entire world. It expands where there is no more good and evil. We don't have to have good and evil. We can have good and better. Good is the way you do things. Better is the way I do things for me. What I was saying about diversity and harmony, a world of many different tribes. You're all positive. We're all working for a great planet. But some of you I work with and some of you I don't. It's good and better, that's all. So you can have a totally positive lifestyle. I want to, maybe I'm going a bit over time, but I want to say something about negative belief systems, how they work. Okay, so a positive belief, so positive and negative beliefs. A positive belief is anything that, like, you're coming into your life and you're filtered through your positive belief. A positive belief resonates in your heart. It connects with your ideals. It connects with your vision of a beautiful world, a beautiful future. It makes you feel good right away. Now, you may have conflicting thoughts come in that say, oh no, that's not practical. That's not going to work. You can't do that. If you try to be your real self, if you try to be your destiny self, people will hate you. You'll lose your family. You're going to go broke. Listen to all that stuff. Listen to all the protests that come up in your mind. But a positive belief, it fundamentally makes you feel good. You're like, it can be wishful. It's like, I wish the world was like that. I want to get to that world somehow. I don't know how. So the positive beliefs, they're going to bring up your negative beliefs. The negative beliefs are the ones that are all the limitations. They claim, the negative beliefs, they claim they're taking care of you, but they're creating the problems that you're trying to get away from. Just like you see a lot of these dictators and narcissists, they claim to be on your side. They claim to be helping you, but they're actually creating the problems that they claim to be solving. They're actually creating more of the problem. They are the problem. The negative belief is the problem. So a negative belief, right away, it makes you feel bad. Okay, it makes you feel bad, whereas the positive belief makes you feel good. The thing is, as a human being who's trying to live a good life, we are all programmed as human beings. Humans want to have a good life. That's the pleasure principle, or the fundamental motivation, the pursuit of happiness. Human beings deep down want to be happy, to have a good life. So a negative belief, you come in and it makes you feel bad right away. It disconnects you from your source. It says, like, you're weak. There is no God. There is no hope for you. It makes you feel bad. It disconnects you from your source. Why would you hold on to it? Negative beliefs, there's no reason to hold on to them unless they have more tricks they do to try to make you think that you have to hold on to it. And it is exactly the kind of stuff that negative people and dictators, demagogues, narcissists, it's the stuff they do. It's the stuff that people claim, like, ooh, they're so scheming, they're so brilliant. No, they're not. They're just acting out how negative beliefs work. So one, at the positive belief level, positive beliefs are like, yeah, come and go as you choose. You have free will. A positive belief is like a positive community that says, I know we got a good thing going here. If you belong here, you're welcome here. If you need to go somewhere else, go somewhere else. We're in a positive world. It's okay. So positive beliefs, you get free will. You get lots of free will to learn what you like and create more and all this good stuff. Negative beliefs, right away, they make you feel bad. So they say, like, there's no alternative. You're going to die. You can't stop believing this. You're going to die. So that's what they say. Negative people, they're like, what, you don't like how mean and how oppositional, and I'm talking about war? I'm telling you, you're going to die if you don't follow me. We got to go to war. Those people out there, they're out to get you. They're out to get you. So they're going to make you paranoid. They're going to make you afraid, all this kind of stuff. And then it goes deeper into judgments. Judgments of who's right and who's wrong, who should live and who should die. Like absolute judgments. There are two kinds of judgments, though. At the positive belief level, it's just personal value judgments of like, oh, this is good for me. I'm just live and let live. I found something that's good for me. You find what's good for you. That's the way positive beliefs work, positive communities. Just we offer this. Would you like this? In the catalog of summer classes, like which class would you like? That's all. But no, negative beliefs are like, no, you got to do it our way or you're the enemy. And, it's all about like law and order and forcing things. And so lots of violence. And then at the emotional level, positive beliefs, they're all about the truth. They will say to you, positive beliefs will say like, that person over there, they got a lot of problems inside. It's like you can try to be nice, but if they start twisting everything you say and turning it against you, you need to let them go, because positive beliefs will tell you the truth. Positive beliefs, they bring in the angels, they bring in the spirit guides, they bring in your higher self. You're going to be golden. You're going to see exactly what's good for you and exactly what's not good for you. And then you can love everything from the right distance. Like I said, you don't have to like stay with something that's bad for you and try to convert it or kill it. You can just, positive beliefs will tell you exactly where you need to go. Negative beliefs, oh no, it's all about projections. This is that, a narcissist, the accusations of a narcissist are confessions. Nobody is their real self. Everybody is like either your enemy, you either demonize or you worship. It's all these projections. I need you to be my father figure, my mother figure. I need you to do this for me. I need you to do that for me. And as soon as you try to be yourself and say, look, I'm not your mother, father. I'm not your whatever. I'm not your, super best friend who's going to save your life, and then they turn against you. So it's all about projections. You see the insane, crazy stuff negative people do, constantly projecting everything, like pathologically not owning anything, putting it on other people. It's because that's what negative beliefs do. And at the bottom level, control by force. So you wonder, like, why negative people, they become violent in some way, like physically violent or emotionally violent. They want to control, they want to force, and opportunistic. You see people who are negative, they're like, they can't seem to control themselves. Like, oh, I just got to do this. I got to say this. I got to look good. Like, you can bait negative people, but you don't want to bait them. But you can bait them where it's like they can't resist. If you give them some flattery, they have to take it. Negative people are just compulsive, addicted to every little bit of control, every little bit of like looking good, feeling good, even if they're actually miserable inside. So, whereas on the positive side, positive beliefs, they would lead you to a world where you don't need control, because there already is this spiritual system of like the law of attraction. I was saying, you think about what's positive and good for you, and you'll meet people like that. And what's not right for you, it will go somewhere else. It doesn't have to be against you. It's just like a different community. I'm not really working with those people, but they're doing something good. So positive beliefs lead to the natural control of the world, where there's already a spiritual divine order. You don't have to enforce any control. You don't have to fix or change the world. All right. So I still want to do a meditation. It will definitely run over time. But I wanted to give you some insights there of like why we want to have compassion for people who are trapped in these negative belief systems, And you may think from the outside, oh my God, they're so nefarious. They're like scheming and doing all this stuff on purpose. No, they're not. They're simply acting out how negative beliefs work. They are being an embodiment of negative beliefs, and that becomes the negative ego. Their human being becomes negative. But you can have a positive ego even with negative beliefs. That is the vision of you stumbling into a situation. It's upsetting, but you're honest with yourself. You do some spiritual reflection. You work with your higher self. You figure out which belief systems to change. And the way you change beliefs is that you realize, how did I buy into this? How was this part of my survival personality as a child? And have compassion for yourself. Realize, like, that's a negative belief. It's never going to work. It always lied to me. It always said I was going to die if I try to be my real self. No, if I be my real self, I could actually be happy. A lot of the anxiety and addictions people have, that comes from trying to stay with a negative belief. Negative beliefs offer a lot of like comforts and benefits, but they always leave you anxious and feeling like something's wrong and scared. So yeah, that gives you some sense of like, just have compassion. And you want to have compassion for yourself. When you catch yourself, the two main directions are catch yourself when you're feeling anxious and you're like compulsive, like, I just want something to make me feel good. I think I'll binge watch this TV show, or I think I'll run out and hang out with this person who I don't even like that much, right? I think I'll like, drink some alcohol or whatever. Like, it's just got to feel better, feel better. That is a sign of a negative belief, and you're living with it. You're trying to live with it, and it's not going to feel good. The other hand, if you're trying to leave a negative belief, all by itself, the negative belief will make you scared. Like, I want to be my real self. I got to quit my job. That I can't deal with this job. I got to be, I got to have the career, the people. I got to leave these people. I got to have what's really me. You're going to have intense fears come up. But don't be afraid of fears. Fears are actually pointing out there's a negative belief going on. The way to solve fears is that to choose more love. Say, thank you, fear, for showing there's a negative belief going on that would keep me locked in addictions and anxious behaviors and adaptations. The negative belief by itself terrorizes me, says, I'm going to die. I can't possibly live a different way. Call in the love. Have the self-love, working with the spirit and human partnership, bringing in the higher self, and then you'll be guided to actually, there are totally different ways of believing and living that do bring in more of the love. More and more of that love will call you and draw you. You'll have a confidence with your soul, and it becomes easier and easier to leave negative beliefs.